I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P. A lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious. I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
Alright, god damn it. I usually let the theme song play, man, but we got a full show, man. We gotta get to it. Welcome to the program. You're now tuned in to Let's Go Live with Lamont King. I'm Lamont King. And we are now live. Let's go! Let's get to the money resides. Let's do it. For the first timers, man, something like a podcast. All right, it's live, 6 to 7 East Coast time. We try to do this a little Willing Monday through Friday, East Coast time. And shout out to everybody watching on the West Coast right now and worldwide. Don't trip. It's a live show. I know what I'm doing. But thanks for being here. Peanut Gallery, what up? My usuals, my regulars, no individual shout outs unless you bring somebody. You know how it go. We got company today, so y'all act like y'all got some sense. Broadcasting live from the newly remodeled Drunken Fruit studio in the Tiny Closet Command Center. Drunken Fruit, check them out. We'll have more on that later. Ike Speaks is up a little later as well in the show, joining the show. You know how that's going to go, against the law. All right, so let's get to it. I got a guest coming in today. He's on standby right now. So if you've been under a rock, man, we're trying to figure it all out. People were hitting me on social media, and I was like, hey, man, I don't know. I didn't get in on this one. I just really started. So if you've been under a rock, today some magical shit happened on the stock market. First ever of its kind. It was a move, a power play, a massive troll, an economic shift. In a major way. A lot of people made money, a lot of people lost money, but the power was in the hands of the people for a speck of time today. And we have to, it's imperative that we understand what happened, how it happened, and how we can get in on it. All right, so I don't know if y'all remember a few months ago, we had a young Thundercat investor, early 20s, recent college graduate, talking about he made like 26,000 overnight on Tesla or something like that, and he was really dropping jewels. So returning to the show is his company. He's in a meeting right now, making money. So he sent over his partner right quick. Let me read you his bio. Maurice McDaniel, known to most people as Mo, so we call him Mo. One of the co-founders of the Investors Table. He attended Florida State as well and began his investing journey. Soon after he graduated with his finance degree, he enjoys reading motivational books. Who cares? Leave that out. Listening to podcasts and making the stock market easier to understand for people. I'm just messing with you, Mo. Using real world examples. Maurice likes to shed light on how the skill of investing is easier to attain than most people think it is. And that is the number one reason why he's on the show today. Please welcome everybody. Let's go live. What's good with you, Mo? Investors Table.
What's going on? What's going on? First and foremost, I want to make sure y'all hearing me okay. I'm good.
We got you. Let's see. Thumbs up in the chat. YouTube.
All right, perfect.
The sound effects.
I'm doing good. I feel like I'm with family. I see you got a Shop Black Businesses thing, a sticker right there. I'm wearing all black clothing right now. We got to do that. We got to do that. But appreciate you for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. They say the sound is bad right now, so refresh real quick. They ain't getting all my sound effects.
Yeah, I hope y'all doing good today.
All right, let's try it again. One more again. All right, thumbs up in the chat if it's good. Sound is good on this end. Your sound effects are not on. Let's see. Y'all hear the applause. All right, so Mo from the Investor Table. All right, so what happened today on the stock market, specifically with the squeeze, if you will? I've been doing some research and learning some terms. The super shorting of GameStop, AMC, and the subsequent shutdown of trading by Robinhood, the trading app.
I can explain this a lot of different ways, but I'm gonna make it very simple. The little dogs ganged up on the big dogs. That's what happened, right? But that's the easiest way I can explain it. But to get a little bit more detail, I'll break it down. So, you know, the stock market is a place where you invest in stocks, you own shares of company. Not only you, but these big dogs, these hedge fund investors, these professionals, they move billions of dollars on a day, right? Those are the big dogs, right? And then you have retail investors, affectionately known. Everybody knows about Robinhood. It's an app that's supposed to give the power to the people, make investing a little bit more attainable for your everyday man, right? But pay attention to that because I'm gonna come back to that in a second because it's pretty funny.
Okay.
But long story short, the way the stock market works, there's different little tools and tricks to it. There's not only, you know, that rule that says you have to buy low, sell high. You can actually bet, right, on the stock going down and make money from that. So most people think you have to buy a stock and it has to go up to make money. That's not the way Wall Street has it. They have a rule where they set it up so where you can do what's called a short, meaning you can borrow something, and if the price goes down, you can sell it back to that person, and then now that person owes you, right? Closest example I can think of is a pawn shop, right? You give them something, they give you some money. That's supposed to be a trade-off, right? But long story short, what's happened today and what's been happening recently is with the short squeeze is people realize that, hey, a lot of these big dogs, they borrowed and said GameStop was going to decrease in value, right? But how a short works is you make money if the stock price goes down, but if the stock goes up, you owe money, and not only that, you owe money on top of money, and you have to pay up. Like you have to pay. So what happened is a lot of the small guys, they got together. They said, hey, these big dogs, they think GameStop is going to go down. You know what? If we all push the price up, they have no choice but to buy something, right? So we could come in and bully them if we all work together to buy GameStop. It's not worth it. GameStop, they don't even make money, right?
Yeah, right.
They don't even make money. Why is their price going up 200%? They did nothing new. They didn't come out with any new products. But what happened is a group of little guys just got all their friends and said, hey, let's stick it to the big dogs. Let's drive this price up. The way that the stock market works is if that price goes up, whoever owns that short has to pay. So those billionaires, a lot of them, honestly, they lost their entire portfolio. Billions got lost. It's funny. And stop me if I'm not making sense because I'm going on a rant here. But
we tracking.
Right? Robinhood is supposed to be the app that, you know, if you think of Robinhood, the story, it's like a childhood story, fable, whatever you'll call it. You know, steal from the rich, give to the poor, right? What's happened is the day of all days that Robinhood ever existed, this was the day when the small people actually took from the rich and gave it to the poor. You got people. I've seen some things in my team. We've made a ton of money on this, but when I look at some other things, I'm saying, man, what did I do wrong? Some things come by. You heard about Deontay making, you know, $30,000, right, overnight, and that's a big deal. With this Robinhood thing, I've seen people make millions of dollars.
Doing
20,000% return.
On shorts or what? Or just in general?
With GameStop. So they're doing the opposite thing.
With what happened today?
It's been happening today. It's actually been happening for a little while.
Okay.
So if you got in, but long story short, people have found a way to use that little trick, how to reverse it on the big dogs. And long story short, took from the rich, the poor people got their money. But what's funny, Robinhood actually shut things down. So imagine your name being Robinhood. Your name is based on, hey, you're supposed to take from the rich, give to the poor, and make it a little bit accessible. Once these little guys, you got people everywhere. You got people everywhere making thousands. It's just, I want to compare it to, you know, after the protests when it was, you know, rioting, right? People breaking and looting, just a lot of chaos. People just making, money's just flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? All you got to do is buy something. Buy anything, it's going to the moon, right? the day that the small people are, they're getting their money up, Robinhood says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Even though there's no rule against this, we're going to stop y'all from trading. We're going to stop y'all from making all this money. So they halted trading. And now there's a huge issue. I know there's a lawsuit coming from all over the place. But long story short,
yeah,
the company that's supposed to take from the rich, give to the poor, when the poor people started making some money, they shut things down.
So,
let me know if you got any questions there, because I know that was a lot. But
yeah. So I do. So a couple points that just from my readings and jumping on a couple of other lives throughout the day. I stayed away from the news because I know their viewpoint is always going to be skewed. But what I saw was it started on Reddit, which is a chat room that I for one reason or another I'm not on. They do a lot of different. It's a different type of social media. But they organized, which which Reddit members often do. They organize. The news is calling it a meme because by definition, that's what it was, copycats. But they organized and said, hey, let's a few of us do this and see if it catches fire. Because they had been dialing in to, because I learned this, I took a course a couple months ago. You can watch where hedge funds are putting their money. I didn't know that. Had no clue. And you can see it's all public record. They tell you, and so a lot of people lean towards where they're going. So what they picked up on was this particular hedge fund was going to short GameStop, which essentially, because like what you said, they're not doing business right now, it essentially was going to bankrupt them. Yeah. So they had malicious intent anyway. So when the people say, all right, let's knock that off, stop them from doing that, drive the price up. The price started at like $4. Today, by a closing bell, I think it was like 380 or something ridiculous. So if you went along for that ride, putting in those orders, you got paid. And so with Robinhood stopping, my question to you is, I saw that Cash App was, because you can trade on Cash App now. I saw a lot of the other platforms did not. What was it about Robinhood and the, I guess Melvin Capital, they're one of their parent funders. What was it about them that made them do that, knowing the backlash that will come?
This is never before seen territory, honestly. So a couple things. A few months back, right? We have the pandemic that went on, right? People have been getting more into investing, and they've learned about options. If you don't know about options, it's a very simple YouTube search can get you up to speed in a few seconds. You want to take a course? We have a course. There are many courses out there. Long story short, people not going to work, need money, got stimulus checks. They started to get into options, but options can be very risky if you don't understand them, or if you don't even know what you're looking at. So a few months back, last year, someone actually committed suicide. They lost their life because of, trading on Robinhood. They didn't understand what they saw. The worst part is what they saw. If they would have understood, they probably wouldn't have taken their own life, but they saw them down, $700,000 to, someone who's 19, 20 years old. Imagine telling your parents, hey, I'm $700,000 in debt. Right. So ever since that, they've been very, very particular about how they let people trade. They understand that there are a lot of people on the market who are playing with big toys and they don't know how these toys work. They're playing with dangerous financial instruments. You could put your life savings on something, it doesn't go your way, you can have $0. That's how this works. The money can go just as quick as it comes. So they've been really trying to overstep people. The problem is, though, even though they're trying to help people, what they did with this, I know it's their policy to be more helpful and kind of stop people from doing risky things. They actually hurt the small people by stopping the trading, because the only people who are losing are the really rich guys at this point.
Right.
So now it's funny because now it doesn't seem like their name should be Robinhood, because they're taking from the rich. They're keeping the poor people poor.
Right.
I saw something so funny, man. They said, I hope this goes along with this the show, but somebody said, man, you can't do anything in this country. You can't sell drugs. You can't even buy stocks. They don't want you to have anything, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely.
That's I saw that and I started laughing.
I've been having that conversation all day on social media because people was like, man, this just goes to show you we need to have our own. That's no, that's not the answer. Like, the system is not built for you to participate in it, period. So whether you have your own that goes alongside with it, they're going to find a way to shut you down and keep you out. It has to be broken down and rebuilt. And what I saw today was it kind of reminded me of V for Vendetta, because it was like the people really in a what do you call that in an unknown and anonymous way, you know, really pulled a move on the system, and a lot of people got paid. So, oh, my man disconnected. Oh, wow. So yeah, that's just like, that's crazy. All right, I'm gonna get his info too. I'm gonna get the website. But that's funny, John Watson, man. You just talked about that too, trading places. How trading places just started to make sense on what they actually traded. You back?
Dropping too much knowledge. I don't know if you got any conspiracy folks.
Yeah. You know how that happens. Hey, what's your website real quick so I can put it up?
theinvestorsTable.gr8.com.
Okay, the investors table.
They say too much colored folk getting educated out here. We got to shut this down. But
so that connection though, that's the new one for me. That connection with how you said about women.gre.
I'm sorry.
That .gre, the investors table .gre.
GR8.
Oh, GR8. Oh, great. All right. The connection you made with Robinhood really shutting it down as a matter of liability. I was unfamiliar with that. I can see that now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, they of course they didn't see this coming, but they probably want to get ahead and be like, well, we don't, you know, we got a lot of amateurs over here, and we don't want bodies, you know, we don't want that on our conscience. So I could see that, but with the backlash, you know, and now subsequent lawsuits, and then now even mentioned, I heard on News Talk just now, a bailout. Like how dare y'all? How dare y'all even have that conversation when every time poor people ask for money, it's an issue. But now you waged war against a company.
Yeah.
Played an angle, lost, and then you think the people supposed to save you?
Yeah, they robbing the hood now. Like, I see a lot of great comments here. I don't know how you even pay attention with all these good comments. The people hitting it right on the head, man. Can you call this outsider trading? Robinhood did a hoodwink, all of that. That's so true. And I think they're going to get a lot of backlash. I saw something crazy today that I haven't seen maybe since January 6th. I saw Republicans and Democrats agreeing on something. I saw AOC, who's this person who is, you know, one of the more liberal folks, and you have a Republican, right? And they're saying, hey, what Robinhood just did was wrong. So when you got both sides of the government, I think even Donald Trump Jr. So Donald Trump Jr. and AOC, people who are on the opposite sides of this political game, agreeing against Robinhood, right? I think you got a big problem on your hands.
Yeah.
I think you got a big problem. And the best way to find out about us is also our Instagram. I can share that with you.
Yeah.
_table. How we do it, long story short, we don't like to put people out there without educating them. Most people don't like to take the slow approach, but how we do it, we like to take a group of people, focus on them only, and make sure they're equipped so that they never need us again. You know, so that's kind of our thing. It's very different. Most people don't do it that way, but we want to get people educated, man. It's not about relying on us. It's about getting you to a point where you're self-reliant. So definitely the teach a man to fish approach is what we got over here.
Absolutely. Let me get in your pockets a little bit. Did y'all play the angle today? Did y'all get a chance did y'all come up?
I didn't personally, but my people did. We got a lot of people we trade with. My goal as a leader, I try to play it more safe because people follow you. You know, you got to set the tone, lead by example. Something that's as risky. The way I see the stock market, there's money every day. People tell me, hey, you missed this, you missed that. Well, I'm like, y'all don't understand that this isn't going anywhere.
Right.
So I'm just glad that the people I taught, our group chat, man, we're still counting. Last time I counted was close to 200K. From GameStop and on other things. They're just giving out really good advice to each other because it's a group of people. The best way I could put it, everybody know about Clubhouse. Imagine getting in the Clubhouse, but everybody actually knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, right.
That's what we got over here. So people made a lot of money off of this, but like I said, there's some folks who really capitalized and made millions of dollars off this GameStop thing.
Now,
And
do you see it continuing? Do you see it like these groups mobilizing and doing it to other stocks, or do you see the Fed coming in and be like changing the rules? Because once black people get into anything, they change the rules.
Absolutely, that's a great. I have that same question.
Okay.
There's two sides to it, right? The stock market is a market where, in most other things, democracy prevails, but on the stock market, not so much. It's if you lose type of game. There's no charity. There's not supposed to be charity on the stock market, right? You're not supposed to be babied. If you make a bad decision, you lose money.
Right.
That's how that works, right? But trying to prohibit people and baby them and take certain things away from them, I think it goes fundamentally against why the stock market even exists and how it exists, right?
Right.
So I don't think they understand how big of a problem that was. And like I said, you got Republicans and Democrats agreeing on something.
Mm-hmm.
They got a problem.
That's
It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting because that lawsuit. Now I'll say this: some of the stocks that they stopped, they've already said, okay, we're going to back off.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see it because what you said was so true. Once black people start getting into stuff,
they get regulation coming down the hallway. Yeah,
party's over, y'all. Black people,
we got Mo from the investors table. You got a quick minute to take a couple questions.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got a segment called Against the Law. We bring in Ike Speaks, an attorney, criminal defense attorney. She has some questions about margin calls. So I'm gonna bring her in. Welcome to the program, Ike Speaks.
Family. Thank you for having me once again, and thank you for. I just got on Instagram. I'm now following you, and I'm going to have my son take your class. But I wanted to. He's 25. He needs to get busy. But I wanted to ask you, and I wanted you to warn, because I think this is going to trigger a lot of our people to try to get into the market, and they need to be warned about trying to buy stocks on margin. So can you just tell us a little bit about that and how people woke up thinking they had some GME because they bought it on margin, and then that shit got called and they didn't have shit.
So here's how we do it in our class. You will never hear us say do anything on margin, because the way that margin calls work, you're putting yourself into an unlimited risk, right? There's an old saying, don't test the waters with both feet, right? A margin call is somewhat like jumping in the water. You don't know what's in that water, how deep it is, how hot it is, anything. So just to get a little bit more specific, when you buy a stock on margin, what happens is you're somewhat borrowing money in order to buy something that you don't have, right? If that moves in the opposite direction, and most people on margins, even with the short squeeze, what happened with the investors the billionaires who lost that money, some of that money might have been on margin, but it's the same concept. They bet on that stock price to go down, right? If a stock price is $10, and GameStop, I can go and check exactly. I believe it was around $66 or actually around $15, right? They may have bet, hey, this is going to go down to $5, right? GameStop is currently around $300, and it can go to $1,000. There's no limit to it. So essentially, what that means, if you buy something on margin, it's like having an unlimited credit card, and you never know when they're going to say that bill is due.
Okay.
You don't know what the due date is. You have no idea.
But if you're not a savvy investor, or if you're new to this, it might look attractive that you are able to buy some stock with somebody else's money. But that's how you have to, you wind up committing suicide later.
And I hope I'm answering that question. But if anybody ever comes to me asking me about margins, I'm going to tell them not even to think of, delete that from your vocabulary. There's a lot of ways to make money that won't commit you to have you want to commit suicide. If you want to put yourself at risk, go ahead down. I mean, it's just that simple. Don't do it. There's a lot of other ways. And as you learn more, what I think Robinhood tries to do is to keep people from doing those types of things. But what we can do, what I think everybody should do, is just educate yourself. Just educate yourself. Because these things can go the opposite of where you want them to go in when that money is due.
There it is.
Somebody lost money.
All right, there it is, Mo. I appreciate you, Mo from the Investors Table. Please, if you got some time, man, we'd love to have you back on a you and Deontay on a regular basis, dropping jewels. The course and the website is the investorstable.gr8 as in great.com, and the Instagram is investors_table. Did I hear you say that?
Absolutely. And is it cool if I stick around because I want to learn just as much?
Oh, absolutely.
Talk. So
absolutely. And just and let me know. I'm gonna leave you in the what you call it, but let me know if you want to just jump in. Just give me the thumbs up. All right, there it is. Mo from the Investors Table. Hey, we learning something today, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We out here. All right, welcome in to the program. Of course, fan favorite. Let me put your name up there. Ike Speaks, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, where we at? How you been? I ain't talked to you in a minute.
I'm good. I'm in quarantine because I traveled to a non-border state. So those of you who are in New York or maybe in the tri-state area, if you travel outside of New York for more than 24 hours to a non-border state, when you return, the National Guard will be at the airport. You will have to fill out a form, and contact traces will be up your ass.
Wait. When did that start? When did that shit start?
That's what I said. I was like, when did this start?
What?
This was Monday. This was Monday.
Wow. What? And you ain't no walking up. You just getting your bags.
No, get your bags. You can't even get to baggage claim. You have to sign. You have to show that you have filled out the proper form, and you got a confirmation saying whether or not you have to quarantine. You have to show that to the National Guard to get out, to get to baggage claim. They're not playing games.
As you sent the email out, I was real fast or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, she must have. I'm gonna ask her what country she went. And you non-border state. You went to Cleveland, and you got and the National Guard. God dang!
I went to the mountains in Tennessee for 5 days, and then I drove to North Carolina for 5 days.
And they pressing out like that.
Like that.
Wait a minute, you said drive.
Oh no! And if you drive, if you are in a non-border state, you are supposed to fill out the online form. And they have plate readers, and they're watching phones and tracking all kinds of stuff to see.
I ain't seen none of this on the news. I ain't seen none of it.
On the news.
Oh man.
It's not
so you're in day 4, so you are they tracking you? Are they ankle monitor? You on home?
Texting, calling, and I have to have a COVID test tomorrow.
Wow.
So they want you to have proof that you have a negative test.
Is it 10? You said 10 or 14?
10.
Yeah, see, and that's what we were just talking about that yesterday.
They changed, the CDC changed the recommendation from 14 to 10.
Right.
And then 3 months, 3.
And my theory yesterday and the day before was like, I think we could, if everybody did that, it would disappear. Just 10 days. Just sit the fuck down.
Yeah. 10 days. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting the fuck down.
All right. So today, the legality of what happened. And of course, in the last 2 to 3 hours, we've seen class action lawsuit.
Yes.
It was really, really dialing in to the power of the people.
Yes.
And they was like, well, nah, y'all not going to stop me from trading just because you see we doing what y'all did.
Right.
So the class action coming out of the Southern District of New York, we always talk about that.
Yes.
Clue us in on what do you think will the impact be, or will it be effective? Is that something I needed? Because I'm in different groups on social media, and they was like, "Now get out of Robinhood." Then I went to another group. They was like, "Nah, stay in. If you stay in, you'll be a part of the class action." But then I was like, "How do I get my $500 out? I got $500 in there. How do I get that out?"
So, class action lawsuits are super complicated, and they take a really long time. And usually it's very profitable for the attorneys involved, right? Because oftentimes the class is so large that whatever the settlement is, once it's divvied up, it's really like 30 cents for you and 30 cents for you. And you know what I mean? So
okay.
The lawsuit that was filed, and I haven't been able to get a copy because so many people have been trying to get it, they crashed the damn server. So I haven't gotten it. I saw just the first page of the pleadings, which indicated it's a class action lawsuit, and Robinhood is being sued for market manipulation.
Okay. Now, that sounds obvious, but what does that mean?
So I could, like I said, I couldn't see the pleading, so I don't know exactly what the allegations are. I'm assuming that they're going to make some type of the allegations are that Robinhood has disenfranchised its people on its platform from being able to participate in the free market.
Right.
Whether or not the lawsuit is going to hold up is going to really boil down to all of the things that you don't read when you sign up for Robinhood.
Yeah, yes. and then the updated terms that they sent out about 3 months ago. I definitely ain't read that.
There's probably some type of clause that says we can do whatever the fuck we
You
want.
don't get yeah. Yeah.
So whether it goes somewhere or not, I don't think that's what's important. I think what's important is the lesson that we as the people have to take away from this experience, and to understand that we do have the ability to affect change in numbers. If we can move in numbers like that. I mean, we saw it in voting, but now we're seeing it on the stock market. Bananas.
Yeah.
That's bananas.
And it was really when I woke up and started reading, I was like, what are y'all talking about? I couldn't, you know.
Right.
But then it was on every platform, because you know the snarky people, the hipsters who are ahead of the curve, they don't let you in on it. They want you to ask.
I got a call the night before the shit started going crazy, and they was like, "Yo, you need to get this," and then I was like,
"What?
Right? AMC? Ain't nobody been in the movies. I'm not buying that shit."
Yeah,
I didn't buy it. So.
Yeah. But I feel like if you were a couple groups I'm in as novices or whatever, but I feel like if you were already in motion,
yeah,
you were in a position to benefit, even on a short term, not like today. Oh, let me call and see what's up. No, if you was already hip to the play and how it was moving, a few $100, I think I saw some people like really, good Valentine's Day.
Listen, for people in a pandemic right now, if you could buy 50 shares of something that's $3,
yeah,
it goes up to $300. You just made like $15,000 or whatever the math is. Don't play.
Yeah.
But
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a come up for a lot of people who don't have that kind of capital.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting that you tied in with the voting thing, because like I said, when I woke up, I was like, that's exactly the feeling that I got. It was like, hey, y'all, we not, we ain't jiving no more. This is if everybody do it, watch what happened.
Right.
And everybody was doing it. It was kind of like, was Stacey Abrams behind this? You know what I mean? It was kind of one of those kind of feelings. And the more I read about it, I was like, oh, that's a real move. That's a real play against, because if you think about it, me and John Watson from All Fun and Games, we were talking about this the other day. He said how he watched Trading Places.
Yeah.
And, we grew up on the movie. It's the funny movie ever. But that whole scene at the end, I just thought it was funny. Sal. Like, if you have no clue of what's taking place there or why they got rich and how it flipped, it would go right past you. But now, like, we understand it. And I feel like that scene is what happened today.
Right. I feel like I need to go back and watch that all over.
Yeah. And the crop report. It's all about the Clarence Beeks and the crop report. But just to see the people really do what, and the point I was going to make, these big time, like, they know the game. Stock market has always been off limits to us.
Yes.
Like, this kudos to this young generation,
who
are like, oh no, we in here.
They're fearless.
That wasn't a thing for us to do.
No.
You had to have money to do that, and they kept it from us for so long, or at least presented the illusion that we couldn't get to it.
Right.
To see it happen today in that fashion, where we just did to y'all what y'all been doing to the economy for the last 100, however the stock market has been up, and now you call it manipulation because it happened to you,
right? And it's not fair.
Yeah, and now they talking about we may need a bailout because you went bankrupt.
What? So now we got to pay you back?
Yeah. And now then I got to pay you back for the money you lost trying to beat me.
Right. My fear is that there are going to be people who think that it's time to buy now.
Okay.
And it's not. Right. It's not necessarily the time to buy now. You do not want to buy GameStop at $400 a share.
Right. Well,
you know what I mean? Like, but if you just woke up and you're like, oh shit, GameStop is popping, let me get a couple of shares of that. You might be taking a risk there.
Yeah.
It's best always to just watch the charts, watch what's happening. Join a group or two. I'm in Stocks and Stilettos and some other groups that are geared to Black women, and whatever your niche is, find people who can help you get a better understanding of that. Because it's intimidating for us. We keep our money under mattresses.
You're right.
You know what I mean? That's our legacy. We're not.
And then to Mo's point, Robinhood, like I hope maybe somebody that works there is watching. The audacity. Like how dare you? Because most, and the question Haynes in the peanut gallery, he asked earlier, was this a black thing? And I was like, not necessarily, but a lot of people that I know are investing now because they got the time from quarantine. They studied up and now they've got a little money to play with, and so a lot of black people did come up.
Yeah, because they got access now. Before, it was, the stock market was this far away thing.
Yeah.
You needed to have a broker. I don't know where to get a broker from. Like, how do you do that?
And so to that point, me as a novice, over the summer, I'm asking, they like, yo, Fidelity, is you do true, but to start Robinhood. Everybody was like, Robinhood is a good place to start for the new investor because of the user interface.
Friendly,
yeah, the layout is a little easier to understand. So for y'all to be the one, knowing that that's where the most of us are, the newbies, for y'all to be the one to be like, oh, y'all doing too much, we just got to stop.
So settle down.
Yeah, settle down. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Shame. I was thoroughly pissed. I sold everything I had on Robin. I just because I just was so angry. Like, I don't want the app anymore. I don't want to support the app.
When did you do that? I
sold everything today. I sold everything I had on Robin.
Wow. Okay. How does it? No, you should have.
I could have waited and I wanted to make a point. Like, I know Robin about. With the stocks that she had, but I felt like if enough people felt like I did and were disgusted by what Robinhood did, and just then maybe other apps would not follow suit. They need to see that we are not going to stand for this shit, and so that's why I'm about to delete that app. I just got to get a couple get out of there. But
hey Mo, you want to jump back in? You guys want to say? Oh, let me bring Mo back in, and it's a couple questions too. This
and they got the nerve to call themselves Robinhood.
Yeah.
But when people actually doing the Robinhood thing, they like, whoa, this is in your name.
Yeah, right.
Your name is Robinhood. This is it's like poetic justice, almost like this is what you serve. Like that, I don't know. The name, it throws me off because it just makes them looking even crazier, but I agree. I sold everything I had today too.
Okay, so that's where I was going. That's where I was going. So now let me do this disclaimer. We're let's go live. We're not giving out stock tips or advice. I don't care. Y'all should be smart enough to figure it out on your own. But so let me ask you, what does that do? Does that do? You saying making a statement, and do you lose by doing that? Because I want to close my account out. I don't know how.
It depends. It depends on what your options. I mean, what your positions are looking like. I might have been down here or there, but I didn't care at that point.
I'm all the way up from when I went in March.
Well, look, you could transfer. You could transfer fee, right? Mo, you can transfer. I know a lot of people that are transferring from Robinhood to Fidelity. There are some fees included. I think it's a $75 transaction fee, but I heard that that's refunded.
Okay.
You do change. So there's a lot of there's going to be a lot of apps out there like Fidelity that are like, well, you Robinhood people, come on over here. We love you.
Yeah.
Come on through. We won't do you like that.
Okay. That's good to know. What is there a penalty? Is there a because you're selling your stocks and you're not.
I sold them low. I sold a couple low. That's the only. I mean, Mo, you can jump in there. I'm not the expert on this part, but I sold.
That's why I brought you back, because I was asking.
But I sold some high, and that it was an offset. So
only people who are not smart think they have nothing to learn from everybody. So you might teach me something. I firmly believe that. Okay, anybody come talk to me about stock, I'm always trying to listen. I'm always learning. But there's some fees you can switch over to apps like Webull. Thinkorswim is what I recommend, but there's a lot you can do there.
I heard Webull stopped GameStop too.
The problem with Robinhood is they're the face. Mm-hmm. So even though some of these other apps, they did the same thing as Robinhood, people call them Robinhood investors when they mean retail investors, right? Mm-hmm. So they're the face of it. Even though everybody did what Robinhood did for the most part, they're the face, so they're going to take all the blame because they had the name. So.
Got it. So Fidelity, Webull, those are viable alternatives in your opinion?
Cash App too.
I saw that today. I didn't even know that Cash App did
You know,
that.
you can buy crypto on Cash App too.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Coinbase for crypto.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't want to. I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not advertising for these apps.
Right. True.
That I use.
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful of that too.
Exactly.
I just know I want to close my shit down and not be penalized because I think I'm up last time I checked. But what happens? What happens to those individual Mo? What happens to those individual stocks that I sell in that portfolio, or do I transfer my ownership into the other platform?
They want your money. They will help you. They have a process. One of my investors, they said that they lost some money switching over to Webull, but they take some fees, and of course there are taxes as well. But they can help you transfer if you just visit their customer service. That's the best way because they know the ins and outs.
Okay.
But I did want to say one thing that Robinhood did that I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
They made it so that they bullied all the other brokers to make trading free. I don't know if that'll change with all of this though. That might be one thing they do.
Go back to the commission trading, yeah. Because
they might say, "Hey, this got crazy. Let's put money on it." So we'll see. But they did make it free for everybody. So thanks for that. But then they took the money right back once people started making money.
So, quick question from the Peanut Gallery, Mr. Clarkson, our executive producer, because this was in my head too. Is my next question. Is it smart business for me to move all my stuff over from Robinhood to another platform, but stay on Robinhood, like keep it open to be involved in the class action suit?
That's a great question. I'm not sure you'll be involved in the class action suit if you didn't have any GameStop shares. First of all, right?
I'm going to just disagree with you a little bit because if you had Robinhood and you attempted to buy,
there we go,
shares, and you were not allowed to, then you should be part of the class action because in effect you have been harmed.
I see. I just learned something.
Yeah,
so I might need to put my piece in. Hey,
right, I'll make that.
How do you prove that you tried? Because I tried. You know what I'm saying? I was asleep, but I had thought about it.
They got a record of everything. They got a record of all of that. I'm telling you, you wouldn't be. We couldn't complete this trade or whatever may have you. Yeah, I tried to buy AMC. I even looked at AMCX because AMCX was going up as well. A lot of people weren't looking at the AMCX stock.
Okay. All right, y'all. 765 Let's Go One. We'll take a couple calls if you're open to it. 765 Let's Go One. 765 Let's Go One. It's a live show. We're talking about the fiasco that happened on the stock market today. Well, fiasco for some, but definitely a game changer. And I really think regulation is coming. And like you said, with the joining of the politicians, both sides of the aisle, seeing that this was a real tricky situation. I feel like it's coming sooner than later.
I agree.
Sooner than later.
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I saw it was Southern District of New York. Now that's the Letitia James office.
No, that's the Attorney General. That means that's the prosecutors. That is the feds.
Because every time I see something like that, I think it's just coming out of her office.
This was a person.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember the name. I think Brendan somebody. I'm not exactly sure who he is, but it's a private person who is seeking class status for this lawsuit. Okay. So it's not a government entity bringing the action. It just happens to have been brought in federal court in the Southern District of New York.
Okay.
All right. So Ms. James was not involved in this. She's got her hands full with bankruptcy court.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mo. Last question, and then I'm gonna let you go again. Oh, wait a minute, we got a call. Hold on. Let's see who that is. Oh, it's John. Hold on. The question I was gonna ask was, after I was trading, is this thing that happened today? Is it still going on? Is that price still rising as we speak?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. So GameStop right now is up 50% after hours. They closed at $153. It's currently at $289.
Wow.
Because it seems like there was a little bit of a walk back when some of these stocks said, "Hey, we're actually going to continue trading. We don't want to be a part of this. Take our name out of this." Is what I've observed. So still going on. We don't know what's going to happen. But stocks don't move 50% for no reason.
Yeah.
That's just not what happens. Options do, but stocks, they don't. So it's still going on.
Wow. Okay. All right. Let's go to the phones. John Watson, our New York bureau chief. Welcome to the program, sir.
What's happening? What's happening, good people?
Can y'all hear?
Yep.
You hear me?
Yeah, we got you. What's a good word?
All right. Hey, man. So I wanted to ask the brother about his course, because I'm really, Lamont and I, we spoke about this. I'm looking at, I'm trying to find a course, for myself to take. So a few questions. One, is it more so for people who know a little bit about a little bit, or is it straight starting from scratch? So I mentioned in chat. So I have a Schwab account, right? That's how I make my little trades and move my little back and forth. Can I continue with my Schwab account and make the moves that you're going to teach through there, or do you require folks to have a specific account and a specific fund? And then the continuing education portion, what does that look like as well? So I want to be able to not make some money, but I want to be able to get to that level to where you guys are talking about, where you're making something a little bit more sizable, based on good knowledge.
Right. So you don't have to have any specific account. We don't, like Robinhood, we're not restricting your actions. You can do what you want, trade on any account you want. But with the class, how we do it, it's really set up like a class for people's benefit. Even if you're experienced, we're going to start you at ground zero, because there's probably some things you missed that'll help you save some money one day. The next class, we actually have the class going now, but the next class doesn't start till actually July, because we have a group close to 100 people who are learning from ground one, and we're giving them all of our time. Because the best way to learn the stock market is to take yourself out of it, learn before you get in. The money's not going anywhere. As long as the stock market exists, you'll be able to make money. But our next class isn't live right now, but we're not going to restrict you from, if you have Charles Schwab, you have E-Trade, Ameritrade, we don't restrict you. But we do just ask people, if you come in, just trust the process. Just learn first. What's wrong with learning before you get in? But hopefully that answers your question there.
Yeah, Lamont.
Yo.
Lamont, at the end of the day, you know where we're trying to go.
What's that? Where the money resides?
We're trying to go where the money resides.
Yeah. Yeah, John Watson.
You see that first question on that website? Is this a get-rich-quick scheme? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. All right, John, I'll see you tomorrow. That's our co-host for tomorrow.
Yeah,
all fun and games. All right, so there's that. All right, Mo, once again, I appreciate you. I'll let you go for real this time, man. But hope to have you and the good brother Deontay back on real soon to talk shop.
Pleasure meeting you, Mo.
Thanks for having me.
All right. There it is. So that's the team right there. There's the website. Is this a give it? No, it's not. All right. All right. So switching gears. Against the law. Ike Speaks is with us. Impeachment.
Oh gosh.
Impeachment. Is it is or is it ain't? Or did this sidetrack? Because they're good for them distractions.
Yeah, it's a whole distraction and a complete waste of our time and resources. Because the goal of impeachment is to remove someone from office.
Yeah, right. That's what it's so weird just even hearing the conversation. I'm like, what are y'all even fighting over? Like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You trying to make a point? What's the point? That you can indict someone and have them acquitted at trial? Because that's essentially what's happening. In impeachment, if you equate a criminal case to what's happening in Congress, right? And impeachment is sort of that stage where we just present enough evidence to show that a crime has been committed and this is the person who committed it, right? We don't have to show you evidence or prove anything. It's a very low standard. Same thing with the House. So it doesn't take much for you to get an impeachment. But that conviction, that evidence, that proof beyond a reasonable doubt, that's not happening. They knew they didn't have the numbers for that, right? Because you need 2/3. You're going to need 67 senators to vote to convict. We got 50 Democrats on deck and only 5 Republicans who have said that they will.
Right.
So there's 45 other Republicans who are like, yeah, no, you don't even have jurisdiction. Their argument, and they get to make this argument. We don't have to even decide the merits of whether or not Donald Trump actually incited a riot. The Senate doesn't have jurisdiction over a former president.
Or a private citizen.
It's very specific.
Right.
This is about presidents, vice presidents, and civil officers. That's it. Doesn't say former anything, right? And so, well, there's precedent. There's precedents. There was back in 18 bubble fuck. There was a guy who, after he left office, they started to impeach him, and he went and resigned. So they continued with the impeachment. He was acquitted in the Senate. There is no precedent for a former president being impeached. And here's the kicker. Everybody, well, if they impeach him, they could keep him from running again. No, they cannot. Okay, so let me explain this. In order for the Senate to vote for him to not be allowed to run again on a simple majority, they have to meet the condition precedent, right? Some shit has to come first, and that's a conviction. Because the statute of the Constitution says it's read in the conjunctive, not disjunctive. There is a and there, A-N-D, right? That small little word for those of us who love statutory interpretation, are whole nerds about this shit. We love to be able to say, you know, you have to read those clauses together.
Okay.
Right? And if we look at Article 2, when it talks about impeachment, it is talking about conviction and removal. It doesn't say conviction or removal. You cannot have a removal proceeding if you don't first have a conviction. How can you say, oh, wait, he was acquitted, but we still want him removed? That's not how it works.
And what are you removing if he's out of office?
He's already out of the office. So, you know, I think what the goal was they thought that enough Republicans would be outraged that they would be able to get a conviction, right? They only need 67. We can get 17 more people to 17 for you, Bob Molly. Well, I'm on my New Jack City shit today.
Yeah.
If we could get 17 of you to go along with us, then we can get him impeached. We only need a simple majority, right? We only need 51 to keep him from running again, ever. But they don't have the numbers. So we can't get there.
They don't even have 51?
They got 51, but you don't get to 51 until you get to 67. You gotta do 67 first. 67 is the condition preceding. That's the condition that has to happen first. He has to be convicted. That's like saying to a guy, listen, I know you was acquitted, but I'm gonna need you to do this 5 out of 10. What the fuck? Wait, what? I'm not about to go to jail.
So the question asks, what about the benefits? Like, is there any way to strip him of benefits, even if this process falls on his face?
No. No. He has to be convicted. Think about this in terms of you. If you were charged with a crime, you think you should be punished if you're not convicted?
No, absolutely not.
I mean, we gotta remove our emotion from this, because if we all want Trump to be convicted, I hate him, right? But I can't be emotional about this.
And he's already set up the office of the former president. Like, what are you doing? He doesn't give a fuck about nothing. He's the office of the former president, has secretaries, letterhead. He don't give a shit. And
talking about starting another party.
Well, yeah, I saw that too.
Right? The Patriot Party or the MAGA Party or whatever they're gonna call it. Yeah.
Now, another political party, that's not a hard thing to do. Like he really could pull that off, because they had the bread and pickles party on the goddamn ballot this time. And I went to their website and there's like 3 Amish people. How did y'all even, like, what is the process to do that?
Petition.
If it's that easy, and we stay talking about we need our own party, how come we ain't done that yet? If it's that easy.
The Black people don't have no unity. Let's not pretend.
Oh, okay.
No, look at HR 40, right? That was the bill sponsored by John Conyers back in 1970 something, and he introduced it every year for like 20 years. And that was just to study reparations. Not give us shit. Don't not give us anything, but just let's look into some shit. Let's just look at the effects of slavery and the residual and the vestiges and see how that has affected the lives of Black people. Let's just study that. We didn't even get that fast.
Not even to look into it.
Right, just look into it. Come on.
Now, sidebar, I was at the Smithsonian, the Blacksonian or whatever.
Nice.
I used to call it. I don't know if YouTube is gonna flag this, but I used to call it the nigger museum. And standing in line. This was early when it was just over. Standing in line, you know, you wait about 3 hours and you read the little history. And I was just so fascinated because they were saying how I'm like, all right, who put this together?
Right.
And they were saying how it's been like in the making since like the 1920s.
Long time.
They've been collecting money since then. And they said every presidential cycle reversed the advances of the previous. And it's listed. It says in President Woodrow Wilson tabled the groundbreaking, and then Roosevelt made it an executive order to proceed in the next 8 years, and then the next president was like, and then they put that on, and I was like, wow. And then it was like groundbreaking happened in the Clinton era or whatever, and still happened 20 years after that. Right. But I say all that to say to your point. They do, like, they've been doing that. They'll have the ability, the power, the resources, and just be like, nah, not right now.
Right. There's always a concerted effort to our impediment. Concerted effort towards our impediment. Look at Robin Hood. I'm not saying it's a race thing, but that's a class thing.
Yes, class.
Definitely, there's always an intersection between class and race when we're talking about poverty.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're affected. We're absolutely affected.
Now, with the reparations thing, I talked about this a couple of days ago. Where are you? Which crowd are you in? Are you the Joe Biden? It's only been a week, or are you in the crowd where Joe Biden? Hey man, it's been a whole week. Like which one are you? Because he did an executive order where he named Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders and the xenophobia and violence that they suffer.
Yeah.
He named to all these people, these black intellects, these super smart intellectuals who say, well, you know, he just can't name black people.
Right.
He literally did it in an executive order. What side of the fence are you on?
I'm at the after day one. I wanted to see an executive order on a police database for police brutality. I wanted to see that on day one. So I'm past. It's the week. What's up? I'm past that.
Yeah.
I'm past that, and I'm at the point where I'm like, he's no different than. I didn't think he was different than anyone else, but you know, I thought maybe he would advance some policies that were specifically, since we gave you that shit specifically for us, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah, because if you read the spin in many of the articles that came out, a lot of the spin in many of the articles that came out this week was, no, he got the racial equality thing, the workplace thing, and the housing thing. No, he got the prison thing. That's y'all too.
Yeah,
who do you think it affects y'all? The LGBT, that's y'all too. And I'm like, no, it's not the same.
Right.
Like you could have done one thing.
Right.
You could have just said executive order, stop being disrespectful to black people.
Stop shooting people in the back.
Yeah, just be like, and people would be like, oh, well, you know, Joe, that's not a law, but we feel you. You know what I'm saying? You could have, but they be so scary. And then the people that you know embrace that position is like, well, he can't. Well, it's early. And well, you know, we're in a pandemic. They do what they want.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to put this in context of the phone call. You remember the phone call he had with the black leaders, and they were like, hey, we would like for you to do these things on day one. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for an executive order on this, that, and the third thing. And he was like, man, I done enough. I got here.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't forget that.
Yeah.
I did not forget that. I didn't forget the way he spoke to the people, as if he was so entitled.
Yeah.
That I'm Joe Biden. Like if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Yeah. Well, that one. Yeah.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And that was an obvious one, but I was hoping, like, because you said that more people would remind and be like, hey man, remember what you had said.
Right.
And everybody's still placating.
How come he could say black on the Charlemagne show, but you can't say black in your executive order?
Ooh.
Really? That's what we're doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not about that life.
All right. Anything else in the world of legality and law that we should be paying attention to?
So just the NRA's filing bankruptcy. to try to thwart the investigation of your friend Letitia James.
Yeah.
So they are seeking to move out of New York. Now, the NRA has been organized in New York for over 100 years, I believe. And so they are seeking now to reorganize in Texas, I believe.
As a nonprofit, which, if in my limited understanding of the way the world works, there's no limits to the amount of money they can play with now. Correct?
It's correct.
Oh, okay.
But you have to have an accounting, right? You're supposed to spend the funds properly.
Okay.
So that is the problem. Letitia James is investigating the NRA, saying that you use these funds for personal use.
67 million.
Right. You were on vacations and Disney and cars and boats and trips, and the stuff that they outlined that was spent is insane. And so she's investigating them and saying that they have been misappropriating, misusing these funds for years. And they're like, well, we're going to seek reorganization of the bankruptcy laws. And so hopefully you won't be looking at any of our stuff.
Now, how are they able to do that in the midst of an ongoing investigation? How can you do that? I thought you couldn't do that.
That's protection. That's one of the ways that you protect when you're being investigated or sued. If you think about a homeowner, if you're being sued for foreclosure, you should run the bankruptcy court. Because there are homeowner protections in bankruptcy court for you. And the same is true for corporation. And so that's what they're trying to do, is get some protection from bankruptcy court. But whatever assets that they have in New York, those assets will be frozen until the investigation is over. Yeah, they're not moving that money. I know Letitia James is not going to allow them to move any money until she completes her investigation. So that's the last thing I have.
From the Peanut Gallery, last question. Can nonprofits lobby? So I guess, can they, once they're back up and running, can they have the same impact and influence that they did when they were?
I don't know. I don't know the legal answer to that.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll look it up. Get back to you.
There we are.
All right. I'm sure if they are legally prohibited, they have some way to circumvent that. I'm sure of it. So, but I'll look it up for you.
Always a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Ike Speaks Against the Law.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you.
Always.
See
All right,
you
y'all
soon.
be good. Stay safe. Don't travel to a non-border state.
Oh man, they got you for going to Cleveland. God, dog.
I'm locked up. Let me out.
We'll do a daily check-in and see what we.
Thank you very much. All right.
Day 9, you could be walking around in a road with a Virginia Slim cigarette and all types of. All right.
Okay.
All right, there we go, y'all. Awesome show today, man. Y'all really made it happen. Came through, man. Big deal. Hold on, let me change this out. Change this. We learned a lot. So you got a couple websites and some resources that you can check out, or whatever. The Investors Table. Those gentlemen are going to be a recurring guest. And as always, Ike Speaks. Appreciate Mr. Clarkson on the technicals down in Studio G, executive producer. Appreciate John Watson, our New York bureau chief, on the fact checking. We'll see him tomorrow, all fun and games, the Friday edition. And today I just re-upped on the phone bank. We got another month. I re-upped on the phone line. So it's total live show. So you can leave messages after hours and everything. And that came from support from viewers like you, $ Lamont King 06. We appreciate it. We put it towards the show. What else? Hit the thumbs up while you're here. Turn the notifications on. Subscribe to the channel. Spread the word. Share it. And yeah, man. Yeah, you're playing your part. Man, I know we out of time, but I got to tell y'all, I got to figure out how to do this, man. We might have to do a watch along. I was up to 4 in the morning, man, watching this situation. For those of you who really are dialed into podcasts, there's some major shakeup in the podcast world, man. 5150, Corey Holcomb, comedian Ray Grady, and Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, had a humongous falling out that was played out live. And like I said the other day, man, I hate gossip, man, but I was up watching like everybody's podcast, talking about that podcast. And it was like podcast talking about podcasts. And then I went down the rabbit hole. It was one podcast was playing video of a podcast that was talking about the podcast. And I was like, man, and those three, I know all three of those guys individually. And it's just oh wow, this situation. So we may find a way to slide that in tomorrow. Talk about men, the new era of manhood and what it means, and how social media, how it plays out, and how the quarantine. Like we're not really rolling up face to face. It's been a year, y'all. It's been almost a year. And it's even changed the dynamics of our interpersonal relationships. Like they really had a falling out, and it's a public played out to the masses, to millions of views. And it's like, oh, you did that video? All right, I'm gonna do mine. And it's like, I just went down. I Tommy Sotomayor, Tariq Nasheed. I really got caught up last night, just like 4 a.m. Just going down the rabbit hole. Comedy hype. Everybody was weighing in, and it's a real tragic situation. But it just goes to show the power of miscommunication and the dangers of social media. So maybe we'll touch on that tomorrow. If not tomorrow, next week. I appreciate the newcomers. I see you on Periscope. I see you on Twitch. I see all my YouTubers. Appreciate you. Facebook, stay off my personal page. We only watch it on my. Yes, Corey is tripping. I will say that. Corey is all the way tripping. I will, and I stand on that. All right, that's about it, man. Brother Martin, I don't know if you had anything to add to this particular conversation. You've well diverse, wide range of topics. I don't know if you were versed on this one, so we just put you on standby to the next show. So we appreciate your patience. Everybody else, man, 765 Let's Go On, leave a message, put some questions out there. We'll see, man. I'll holler at y'all, man. Stay out your feelings.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad official.